Chris, let's kick it over to you. The Redskins lost 23-3 to the Baltimore Ravens. Chris,
I was not happy with what I saw, but take it with a grain of salt. It was about as bad a way to open the preseason as it can get.
Yeah, it was a nasty game.
Look, offense was in for 6 plays, which is about what Gruden said he wanted to do with them. Obviously, you hope the 6 plays net you more than 2, 3 and outs. First play of the game, Cousins, you could tell he wanted to go to Pryor, get him involved. Mm-hmm. Pass was a little bit high. I don't know. Pryor, at some point in the season, you need Pryor to come down with that pass. But
now Chris, the fact that he threw an incompletion in this game, are you done with Kirk Cousins?
Oh, yeah, totally.
I mean, I just didn't know what to do. I mean, when he threw that incomplete pass, I just thought, wow, couldn't believe it. An incomplete pass.
An incomplete pass. Well, look, the offensive, the only way to talk about the offense, and whether it was the starters, whether it was the second team, or whether it was the third team, the offensive lines on all 3 just got owned.
Yeah.
They just got owned. Trent Williams said a couple of things that were interesting. He said, hey, we had trouble with their rush last year when we played them, especially early. We adjusted. The Redskins ended up winning the ball game 16-12. So, yes, folks, in-game adjustments do take place.
Yeah.
I think it was clear that what Baltimore brought in terms of what they wanted to work on was a lot better than what Washington brought in terms of what they wanted to work on. Mm-hmm. But what I
think what you just said is a very good thing to say about preseason games, because coaches and coaching staffs kind of have an idea of what they want to work on going into the preseason game.
You're not game planning for the Washington Redskins if you're Baltimore.
That's a very good statement.
And if you're Washington, you're saying, look, these are the plays we want to run. Let's see how we do. I just wish maybe the communication had been better.
Sure.
These guys have seen blitzes before. They've seen what they look like, especially the starting 5 that we were hoping will sort of carry this team to the next level. So I'm hoping that this game will serve as a little bit of a kick in the rear.
Yeah.
Hey, we got owned. Let's go out there and show people. Let's go shut people's mouths.
Yeah.
On the defensive side of the football, I was really happy with the way we played.
I think y'all's defense played very well.
You can't complain about it. Baltimore had one good rush the entire game when it was all said and done.
Right.
Right after the phantom call on the missed field goal by Tucker, they said McLean had lined up over the center. When you go back and look at film, he had not lined up over the center. He was back a couple of yards from the center, so I'm not really sure how that one got called. But it was interesting to see how this defense would react in a sudden change situation.
Right.
And they didn't react well, because 3 plays later it was a touchdown.
Right.
But overall, there's no way you can be unhappy with what we saw, especially in the run defense department. Not going to spend a ton of time on it, but what I will say is this. I was very interested in the base looks, how often we stayed in our base 3-4 defense and the different things we did out of that. It was not a straight nickel look when we had our nickel package in there. Had a couple of interesting formations, alignments with a bear front, which is essentially you line your 3 linemen up, head up on the guard, and center. Had a couple of those plays, and had a couple of guys work into the A gaps off of those looks for the blitzes. Folks, one thing, and I'm not going to belabor the point, but one thing I hope that Greg Minuski does not do is completely abandon the 3-4 look. Joe Barry swore up and down he was a 3-4 coach, but we were essentially a 4-2-5 defense the entire season. Mm-hmm. That's what we were. And we were not built very well for that, and that's why we struggled last year. That's why we struggled the last 2 years. Minuski said when he got hired, he loves a 3-4 because it's easier to bring pressure from different places. You don't do that if you're lining up in a 4-2 all the time.
Right.
So I would love to see the Redskins be multiple in this 3-4 look. And obviously what we saw in this game, we may look completely different week 1, but I was interested to see how many times we lined up in that 3-4 look.
Yeah. And And I think you have to be happy. I mean, you already talked about the run, I think Minuski's new philosophy you could see right off the bat in this game. The Redskins want to be better against the run.
Yes, I mean, and that's what I was really happy to see, and it really carried through the entire game. I was really happy with what happened for the most part at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
So that's kind of the overview of the game. I think, again, I don't want to see us get owned physically the way we did up front on the offensive side of the ball. Got to fix that.
Right.
As far as players on the defensive side, man, Jonathan Allen, he's what you thought he was.
That boy.
He was what you thought he was. John Kym had the best. He's a writer for ESPN. He's covered the Redskins for about 22 years now. I think he had the best analysis of that sack. He said the smart thing that Jonathan Allen did is he rushed to depth, which was about 7 yards. He didn't over-rush the passer. Kept his head up, kept his hands alive. It allowed him to disengage when the quarterback broke the pocket. It allowed him to disengage from the offensive lineman and go make the play. Just a
heads-up play.
Heads-up play, and that's what Bama boys bring. Speaking of another Bama boy, Ryan Anderson. I love what he brought.
You were right, Chris. I was wrong. I was really wrong about this guy.
Listen, I don't know that I'm not sure if Ryan Anderson is going to be a big stat guy in the sack column.
I don't think he has to be.
But exactly that is exactly
I don't think he
right.
has to be.
I don't think this guy has to be. And for John Gruden to say what he said after the game, they asked him about it. He goes, "Listen, when he sets the edge, teams don't run against us."
Yep.
That's unheard of.
That's a good compliment.
I've never heard Gruden say that about any defensive player since we've been here.
Yeah.
Since he's been here, let alone a rookie. And you could clearly see that. This guy understands what setting the edge means. He understands what influencing how that runner is going to move. I loved watching him play. Zach Brown, folks. We've not had. I've not seen a Redskin linebacker move side to side, and I know it's a small sample size since London Fletcher.
Yep.
The dude was a missile.
Yep.
He was a missile. I cannot conceive of a defense starting against the Philadelphia Eagles that does not have Zach Brown in it.
Yeah.
I will not understand that. I won't. Got to get this guy on the field.
Yep.
I think by far he is your best linebacker, bar none.
And there's not like a discussion right now, is there, about he's going to be a starter?
He is not a starter according to the just released depth chart. Now, I'm not going crazy with that because depth charts are nowhere near official, especially the ones we get. They do seem hung up on Will Compton. We'll see. I'm trying not to be a hater. The other guy that there's two guys that I was really happy with their play. Josh Harvey Clemens and Nico Marley. These are and they had Nico lining up at linebacker. He was not a nickel backer.
Yeah. He was kind of the darling.
This dude is a parasite.
Yeah.
I mean, he just gets himself in on plays.
Yeah.
Great awareness on the blitz. Nice body movement. Nice body control through the hole. And he made the play. They did bring Harvey Clemens in, and he did play in the line, kind of that nickel backer spot. And the dude knows how to get around the football.
Give you boys some credit. Did I not shout this guy out coming out of the draft?
Yes, you did. I mean, this guy has a feel for the line of scrimmage. He knows how to scrape. He knows how to get himself disengaged, or he knows how to stay clean and make the tackle.
Yeah.
Knows how to not get caught up in all the minutia, and so I was happy with both of those guys. I kind of feel like they're playing for one spot. If that's, I don't know. I can't see Marley making the 53.
Yeah.
I want him to make the 53.
Yeah.
Because we all love kind of an underdog story. But there's no reason this guy should not be on a practice squad.
Yeah.
And ready to go if you start having injuries.
Well, it sounds like you guys have a kind of a nice problem to have right
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think Josh Harvey Clemens, in that he was a draft pick, could make things very interesting in how this roster gets built. I was thrilled with his play. Didn't really see a lot of Swearinger, Norman, Breland. I thought Halsey.
Yeah.
Our corner from Auburn had a nice play on the goal line to swat a ball away, save a touchdown. Had another couple of nice plays. He did get burned. Did see a couple of skins, young corners get burned deep for not looking back at the football. Really hope that's something they get fixed. Did see one big, real long pass interference penalty. But overall, I was happy. Phil Taylor, I thought, had a very active game. This guy continues to surprise people. So those are sort of the guys that stood out to me defensively. Offensively, I'm not sure anybody really stood out. Not really sure. They just didn't do enough. Samaje Perine had about as bad a start to a game as you can have.
Yeah.
Fumble, which he recovered, thankfully, and a drop pass. So that's just another opportunity to drive it home. Ball security. Yeah. He did have a couple of nice runs once he settled down. Matt Jones, wow, 3 carries for -1. He did have a nice screen pass.
Okay,
maybe.
so I don't want to talk smack because you know me, I don't like talking smack. But I had to laugh a little bit at like the Redskins because it's not. I mean, you said it, but I remember like Manny Benton. Shout out Manny, love you, dude. And a couple of other these Redskin insiders that follow, they're like, look out for Matt Jones. Watch out for Matt Jones. And then I watched that game and I was just like,
yeah, look out for him. Yeah, look out. He's coming at you.
Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, I thought he kind of struggled. But, again, the whole line did. Folks, our backup quarterback situation, one of the things that's kind of neat in the preseason is you kind of look forward to maybe seeing if there's a backup or third-string guy that kind of comes in and runs everything great, and you kind of feel good about yourself. You can't feel good about anything these backups did, Colt McCoy or Sudfeld.
Yeah.
So the Sudfeld hive, the guys that say Sudfeld will be Kirk Cousins in
that had to satisfy.
I mean,
it had to satisfy you just a little.
Let's
bit.
just cool your jets on that one.
I'm not saying you want him to have a bad game, but at the same time, it's like, whew, okay.
Yeah, and I'll close with this. We ended up with 2 sizable injuries. Trent Murphy's lost for the season. With an ACL.
Oh.
Yeah, tore his ACL and...
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I think he tore 2. ACL and PCL or ACL and MCL.
Oh,
but anyway.
Boy.
So he was going to miss the first 4 games, but now he misses the rest of the season, and that's huge. That's 9 sacks. That's 9 sacks gone from last year.
When was this announced?
Monday. It was not Sunday. He hurt himself.
Totally missed this.
Hurt himself. Thursday? Was it Thursday night? He hurt
Thursday
himself?
night.
Yeah, hurt himself Thursday night, and I think Friday afternoon.
Well, I knew he got injured. I just didn't know. No idea.
So he's out for the year, and that's a big blow. And it's going to be interesting to see. Do they sort of keep 7 now? Another guy I want to give a shout out to, just real quick, Anthony Lanier. He did a lot of work with the third string defense. You saw a lot of reasons why the Redskins are high on this kid. Had a couple of man moves on the defensive line. I like the guy. But the other injury, and this is just as sizable, just hear me out, is Sua Cravens.
Yeah.
Sua Cravens had surgery earlier today, and he says he'll be ready for the start of the regular season. But this is a big injury because here's a guy that's transitioning to the strong safety position after last year where we dorked around and played him at nickelbacker for the most of the entire year.
You need them knees.
He's hurt his knee, and this is a knee that's given him trouble since college, so that's a little bit concerning. But he's going to miss between now and September 9th. He's going to miss a lot of practice reps, and he's going to miss some opportunities in games to really get better at that position. So don't underestimate this injury.
What was his injury? Was it a meniscus?
It was a meniscus injury. They didn't really give a lot of details about it. It's about a 10-minute surgery.
I would imagine it's probably an arthroscopic knee surgery. Go in there and clean the debris.
Out. But anyway, he says he'll be back, and that's great. But I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of time to miss between now and the opener for a guy that's played a new position.
Well, sure, but I guess to maybe let everybody rest a little easy, that surgery they do from I'm not a medical doctor, so don't take everything I say seriously, but just from liking a team that has had guys go through this knee scope process. It's very clean surgery.
No, it's not that I'm worried about the procedure that went today.
Yeah,
I'm worried about this is a knee that has given him problems historically.
Okay,
and I'm worried about what he's losing in reps.
Okay,
in practice, I'm not really worried about what went on surgery wise. In fact, I just assumed him go ahead and do it because at first they said he'd miss 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
No surgery required.
It typically is a very simple surgery. Clean the debris up in the knee.
Exactly. But that doesn't concern me. But the overall, is this guy stout enough to play 16 games? He missed, the last 4 games last year with
Yeah.
a pec injury or something, and now he's going to miss with this knee. But again, he's missing valuable reps. Don't sleep on that injury. But also don't sleep on DeShazer Everett. I like this guy, and a lot of people feel like he's just a backup, but he becomes a very important character now between this coming up game and the season opener.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's all I've got.
Okay.